Getting this on camera.
Gear to screw it.
I got the crusty stuff in my nose. You know? You just gotta get...
We're a sophisticated show.
Hi, welcome to Cue It or Screw It. I'm Andrew Teeter.
I'm Kye Hogan.
And we are reviewing Netflix movies for you.
So you don't have to. No, we realize that you take about 10 to 15 minutes before watching a movie on Netflix to decide, okay, what out of my 200 things on my list am I going to watch? So we're here to help you narrow that down a little bit and tell you whether to cue it or screw it. So this time, we watch what lovely movie, Andrew?
We watched Memento, starring Guy Pearce.
Guy Pearce, what a gem. So Memento, also known as the backwards movie. I think my absolute favorite just moment of the movie is at the very beginning when the gun like goes backwards into his hand and just the sound effect that makes, just like and like that whole sequence backwards is like, holy hell. And so you start out knowing what happens, but knowing how to get there is its own mystery, and it's so great.
Well, and I think that brings up a great question of, does the story lose power because it's told in reverse? We're really used to stories being told in the conventional, here's a character, here's some conflict, now they have to rise above that conflict. And that doesn't really happen in Memento. Guy Pearce, there's definitely conflict, but Guy Pearce's character isn't meeting his conflict in a conventional way. And part of that's how the story's told, part of that's his character, and the fact that he has no short-term memory, can't.
So you really view the movie the way that he perceives life, pretty much, just like in short little snippets.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely very pioneering. That's not been done before, which I like. I like when directors take those kinds of risks, and Christopher Nolan's definitely a director who knows how to take risks and how to follow through and make good on them.
Well, and I think, Memento is the perfect example of that, where it is a risk the way he tells the story, but it's also not a risk. He does it in a very safe way. The way the story is told is very safe. This risk. You would disagree?
How would you say that? Well, I want to know why you say that.
Well, I think it's such a good story to be told in the way it's told. It's not. I don't think the story would have the same power, the same impact if it was told in a conventional way. I think the character...
So if it was told chronologically, truly, you think it would lose its power?
I think it would lose a lot of its power.
Really? Okay.
Because the thing about Memento is not only is it working backwards, but it's also working forwards. It's working to a point. It's working to a middle point.
Yeah, because all the black and white scenes, don't those kind of happen chronologically? Where he's
happen chronologically.
Where he's waiting for Teddy to show up at his door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the fact that it kind of meets in the middle, if we were told the middle of the story, which actually ends up being the technical end of the movie. If we were told that in the middle, the movie would be over. It would be half as long.
That's true. Because, yeah, you do need that little bit of rewind and such.
Chris Nolan tells it in a really radical way, telling it backwards, but he also includes the forward part, which I think it makes it a safer risk. It makes it less radical.
True. Well, I do think it needed the story. Like, the story itself was so good that I feel like it definitely would lose power if you told it chronologically, but it's a good enough story that just told on its own is still really good. But then when you add that element of editing to it to tell the story in the order that you did, so much more power to it, because then you see these established relationships and then you wonder why they're established and why they are the way that they are.
Yeah, the characters are developed backwards as well. Not just the story is told backwards, but the characters are developed backwards. Teddy's developed backwards.
And you think Teddy's just going to be the worst guy throughout the movie, and then at the very end...
Don't spoil it. Spoiler alert.
Okay. I won't spoil it for those of you who have not seen it. If you have seen it, you realize that it's... Oh. He's charming but devious, so you always wonder about him, but some part of you his demeanor makes you want to like him too. So I think that's what makes him a good character, is just the way he was portrayed and acted.
Teddy's character isn't as concise as you think he is.
Yes. He's not as straightforward. He's probably the most complex of all the characters.
You don't think Guy Pearce is the most complex character?
Well,
Guy Pearce's character?
I think by default he kind of has to be because of his condition. He has his condition.
Sure.
I don't know if you've heard about it or if he's told you about it.
I guess I've already told you about my condition.
Oh, well, only every time I see you.
Spoiler alert, that's a joke in the movie.
Stephen Tobolowsky, fantastic bit actor. I think that really made it and kind of did a good job of putting his condition into perspective, not only for the viewer but for the character himself, which was really neat to see it through someone else's eyes. But it was awfully convenient that hardly anyone has ever had that, and he's encountered someone with that and then has that.
I think the most interesting part about the Sammy Jenkins story is that there's the best bitches be trippin' moment in...
Oh, with the wife?
With the wife,
Yeah.
yes.
The wife basically tries to test the guy who says that he's got this memory condition, and it's intense. Like, you're just wondering, like, ma'am, why would you do this to yourself? It also has a nice cameo by Thomas Lennon in there, the guy from Reno 911. It's like, Art, now pick up the shape that does not have the electricity through it. Which brings us to our final segment. Overall, I would say definitely cue this. It's not one that you want to have on in the background. You definitely want to be paying attention for this. If you can overlook some of the things like the inconsistency of the memories a little bit, but it's one that you definitely want to pay attention to. It's one you'll probably want to watch twice through, like once to be like, oh, and then another time to be like, now I get it. This makes it, and see a bunch of connections. So it's one of those that not only will you cue it, but afterwards you won't click remove. You'll want to probably see it again. You'll want to like wait a couple days just to let it sink in and then watch it again. So I definitely say cue it if you're the type of person who likes cerebral dramas.
I would agree, and I think it's one you cue and leave in your queue, and 10 months later, 12 months later, once you've forgotten some of the important parts, you cue again. I really, really enjoyed it the second time around because it's a great story, and it has this really strong, unlike in Fight Club when you know the plot twist, you know the plot twist.
Yeah.
And you'll never forget the plot twist. Memento has this really great plot twist and this really great ending that's kind of forgettable in a good way.
Yes.
And you can go back to it and rewatch it.
It's
and
good that
enjoy
you
it.
forget it because then it kind of makes you part of the movie too.
Exactly.
So this has been another episode of Cue It or Screw It. We both gave Memento a Cue It. You can follow us on Twitter at Cue or Screw. You can also like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see other movies that we're going to be doing. Keep up to date, and even suggest movies that you'd like to see. If there's anything out there that you've been wanting to see, please tell us, and we can make that happen for you. So thanks for joining us. We hope to see you again next time. This has been Cue It or Screw It. I'm Kye Hogan.
Drink plenty of Tahitian treat.
Stop it.